Bleh.
What was the first Misfits album when they came back? Was it Famous Monsters?
They
What
came
was it
back with
called?
famous. They came back with American Psycho, and then following Famous Monsters. But before we even begin, before you even start telling me about this,
I listened to that a little bit, and I
yeah,
kind of appreciated it, but it fell off my list, fell off my
fair
radar.
enough, fair enough. Um, how about this one for you? The idea that in a weird kind of way, the Misfits '95 subversively is just Christ the Conqueror under the Misfits, using the Misfits name with a
It
with a
it
new singer.
it could be. I didn't listen to it that
Right.
in deep to pass an opinion on that. If you say every song on the first Misfits American Psycho was rewritten songs of Christ the Conqueror, if you told me that, I would say okay, because I can't prove it or disprove it.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's not like note for note, but there's like whole SWAT. Like they took a lot from, they cannibalized that music and reshaped the songs to be.
Which kind of makes sense if you think
Yeah,
about it, because there were songs that they liked and they thought they were good, and
right.
now they were gonna use them. That would make total sense.
So then tell me, okay, so I was going to start as early as the Christ Conqueror, but so then tell me when you and Haim first hear like, hey, the Misfits are auditioning singers. When does that all come about? How does
Well,
that happen?
they already had they were letting people go up there
Right.
as to audition, but they already had Chud, and Graves was kind of like waiting in the wings.
Right. Second banana. Always.
Graves actually came down and auditioned for Electric Frankenstein.
Shut up.
Yes, yes. It was during that time period, and it all kind of coincided in the same way because they had chosen Graves, but they weren't sure if he was going to make the cut. They wanted to see if they could get somebody better.
Yeah.
A
They,
friend of a friend of mine, longtime friend named Billy, his brother was friends with a guy who knew Jerry, and they said, okay, they're letting people come up and audition.
right.
So, four of us went up there.
And for them, it's just an excuse to practice
That's
and
pretty much what it was, for people to get interested. Like, hey, I'm trying out for the Misfits, to kind of get the thing going. You know what I
right.
mean? Excitement, build excitement. So me and Haim, being the Misfits fans that we were, and him with his voice, and me with the drums, knowing all the material, it's like, all right, this is our our teenage moment now.
Right.
Here we are, like, we're going on stage with the Rolling Stones or something, as kids. So it's a great memory. It's a great
Yeah.
memory of going up to Vernon
Yeah.
in their machine shop with,
Yep.
all the posters and everything all over the wall. And, Doyle presses a power strip and like 5 amplifiers come on, and it sounds like thunder. And Jerry hits his switch, and it's like, I'm on the drums, I'm standing in front of me looking at me with a microphone, and here's Jerry and Doyle. And
Wow.
it's like, okay, this is fight or flight right here.
Right.
Like, and Haim he'll tell you, and he was nervous. I wasn't really so much nervous. I was just like, let's do it. I was excited to do it. So, so Jerry's like, he's like, what songs do you want to do? So they had the set list up on the wall.
Yeah.
Halloween, 20 Eyes, Martian,
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, fuck it, let's do them all. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, and then Doyle hits the first chord of Halloween, and then that was it.
Oh my
It was
God.
just off from there. And I don't remember how many songs we played, but we did play a whole bunch.
And Chud was recording this on drums?
No, Chud came in later.
Oh, he did.
Chud came in later, and he was watching us play. And then Doyle went back to work
Yeah.
because they were working.
Right.
And then I had Doyle's Iceman. I was playing guitar. Chud was
Wow.
playing drums. Haim, I think, had stopped singing at that point. Our other friend was singing. Jerry was playing bass. So you've seen the picture of me with Doyle's Iceman, and one of the funniest, like, moments that I can remember was, we're doing London Dungeon, And
Yeah.
I'm hitting I don't want to be here in your London, and I hit the E, and I like bent the neck on his guitar for like emphasis, like
Yeah.
you know. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm playing Doyle's Iceman. Like,
But this
what
was
if I
interesting.
broke? What if I broke it? Like,
You're playing the Iceman, but by this time he's already making his own guitars. That's what's interesting.
I didn't
You're
know that at the time. The Iceman was what he had there to rehearse with.
And do you remember off the top of your memory, what was Jerry have his custom
He
guitar?
had like his Batwing bass or whatever.
Which is
Yeah,
just
yeah. It was just a black. It was a Batwing bass,
the
I think,
Devastator. Yeah,
whatever it's called.
the Devastator.
My friend that came up with us, he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're bending the neck on Doyle's guitar. What if you broke it? I'm like,
He just glued back together.
I would have to jump out the window.
Yeah.
That would be my only way out of here
But
because
that
he would kill me.
Iceman, okay, if it is the right Iceman, that Iceman recorded Earth AD.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's the Iceman that recorded Earth AD. Doyle's here, Jerry's here, facing each other, and Robo is facing them
Yeah.
in a concrete room, and they're just playing live in the room. And with that Iceman.
Yeah.
You
wow,
know?
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's the Iceman, and it might have even been used on Walk Among Us as well. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
Interesting.
So
that was fun. That was a fun experience.
And you got your tape. You got the recording of the tape.
I think our friend Billy has it that came up with us. I think he has it. Haim may have it. I don't have a copy of it.
Oh my!
If I did, I lost it a long time ago. I get sometimes stuff that I really should keep. I lose a lot of shit.
That is, and did you? Haim remembers. There, you got me calling him Haim instead of John of Doom. Haim remembers that Michale Graves was kind of sulky in the corner or whatever.
Yeah, I think he was. Well, yeah, because he was watching people audition for maybe taking his job.
His job, yeah. Interesting. I don't blame him. I would be mad too. I'd be like.
And right after that, literally probably like a month or so after that, Frankenstein went through a change where Steve was. I don't know how much you know about Electric Frankenstein.
So I recorded Electric Frankenstein, and I've interviewed Sal. It was over at Sal's house about 10 years ago, interviewing him. I don't know if he would even remember me, but what a sweetheart of a guy, Sal.
But Steve was on the first couple of records with us, and then
Steve is the lead.
Steve's the lead singer, Steve Miller.
Right. Yeah. And you know who was in the band when I was sort of like around, not like around, but like Mike Mindless, who just passed away.
Oh yeah, that was
R.I.P.
That was probably about 10 years ago. Yeah,
that was about it was 2011.
Yeah,
it was
very
about 10
much
years
later,
ago.
very much later down the line.
Yeah,
but Steve had left Frankenstein for a couple of years to go.
I
do
did
his
not
own
know
thing.
that.
Yeah, and we were looking for another singer, and Graves came down to audition to Zounds in Saddlebrook.
That's so crazy to me.
And we really did, like, I kind of knew who he was, but I was like, well, I just saw you like recently, and he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. He was very like, remorseful about it. He's like, I'm looking to do something else. I think they may have another singer.
That is crazy.
And he rehearsed with us. Like, I think Sal had probably sent him a tape or a CD of some like learn these songs.
Right.
And he didn't have the pipes for EF. And we were auditioning a lot of people at that time, and he was just, he kind of can't. But he's the only one that I really remembered because I had met him, and he was the Misfits guy, but then he wasn't. But then eventually he became that one. That's
a revelation. Like, I don't think that's known or talked about. I mean, obviously it's known by you and people, but like that is something that is never discussed or talked about. Or
interesting.
Yeah, that kind of blows my mind here.